That was the opening medley on Lucky Logger Dance Time tonight. Music made by Woody Herman with the song Caledonia, followed by Northwest Passage. And we're kind of rushing things for a good reason. Approximately 300 or 400 people have gathered in front of the window of Music City here, from whence we broadcast. And in a very short time, we'd like to bring Frank Sinatra to the microphone. When Frank comes to the microphone, we're going to discuss a few things of great importance. First, how'd you like to hear the voice of our guest on record, on Columbia record to be precise? Let's listen first to a very grand opening for a medley. It's called Begin the Beguines. Begin the Beguines, sung for you by our guest of the evening, Frank Sinatra. Frankie, thanks a million for taking time out from a busy schedule to drop up to see us here. Look out now.
What is that?
Waiting. They're waiting for you out there. 300 or 400 or 500 strong out in the street of Vine Street here, Sunset and Vine. This is the only program on the air with a studio audience in the street.
Well, Ira, it's nice to be here. We just had a couple of minutes to spare between the Command Performance show, and now we took a little drive and got a little fresh air. I've been listening to you for some time since you've been doing these shows. Of course, when you make pictures, you get through at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and go home and sit down most of the nights in the week. We sit around and listen to the radio, and I've really enjoyed the show. Sincerely, I have. Wonderful.
Gee, thanks, Frankie.
And publicly, I'd like to thank you for all the wonderful things you've done for me in the way of playing records and discussing different recordings that I've made. I thank you.
Oh, Frankie, it's wonderful of you to take time out, as I said, to come up here because I know you're so busy. Your radio program for Old Gold every Wednesday night at 6 p.m., that's a great thing. And, of course, the picture you're making now, perhaps if you have a little time, you could tell us about that.
Well, if you got 5 or 6 hours, just make yourself comfortable, and I'll tell you all about it. It's called, of course, it's being made at MGM, which is my home for the next 5 or 6 years. And it's called It Happened in Brooklyn. And there's a guy in the picture that is absolutely one of the greatest humans I've ever known in my life, and he's a great performer. His name's Jimmy Durante.
The best.
And when you see the picture, believe me, he'll kill you. He's really wonderful in it.
He gets better every time. Of course, we've all thought he reached his prime quite some time ago, and he just keeps improving all the time.
He mellows with age.
Oh, so wonderful.
Yes, he does.
And you, Frankie, I understand that your role is more dramatic than ever before, and furthermore, that you might vary your musical talents in as much as you might sing something on the operatic side. Am I right?
Well, we do a small operatic tidbit in the picture. It's done with Miss Grayson. Catherine Grayson's in the picture, which I was getting around to.
Fine.
And Katie and I, of course, are old friends from a little flicker called Anchors Away.
So great.
Made 10 or 12 million bucks. A few dollars, you know.
Well, that's, I mean, after all.
Katie and I sing a wonderful aria, a duet, I should say, from Mozart's Don Giovanni, called La Ci darem la mano. See what I mean?
Are you going to make a record of that is all I want to know. If
I don't
so,
know, Ira. I don't know whether we will or not, because I think Katie's tied up with a record, possibly tied up with another recording company, and if she is, my being with Columbia Records, why, we're dead.
I know what you mean. I was just going to suggest that if you do such a thing, please put the phonetic pronunciation on the label. You know, we
yes, I will.
Disc jockeys only have limited educations.
Oh, I've heard some of them speak Spanish, and of course I've heard some of them speak very well incoherent.
You've listened to my program quite often.
No, not you. No, see. The rest of the explanation about the picture is that Peter Lawford's in the picture, and Pete's doing a great job. It's probably one of the nicest roles he's had in a long time. I think I've seen all of Pete's pictures. He's a very close friend of mine, and we're having a lot of fun. All in all, it's the picture. We hope it comes off on the screen the way we feel about making it, because it's a lot of fun.
Good
all day
spirit.
Long, all we do is just have a lot of yaks on the set. Cost Metro a few $1,000, but
well, that doesn't make any difference. I mean, fun is
fun.
You're
A few $1,000.
You're only young once, besides. Well, Frankie, I want to ask another question pertaining to your recordings. How many selections do you make a year for Columbia? Is there any set number?
Ira, it's quite an explanation in that this is the first year after the war, and production being so bad during the war because of conditions, the same as everything else, the same as we had our food conditions. Well, they had their conditions with records, so that I've been very anxious to build up what is known as a backlog for the benefit of the people who might be listening, my family.
Yes.
And
mine.
Yes, thank you. And I've been doing a lot of records. Now, actually, I think since last January 1st, I've recorded about 45 sides or 46 sides, which would be about 33 records, 23 records. And it'll take time to have them released, but in other words, I've done a lot of standards, a lot of wonderful old songs from a few years ago, a lot of musical comedy things, and eventually they'll all come out.
I see. Well, of course, the ones you've done that pertain to the future, are those, most of those are standards, are they?
Yes, I think so, Ira. Things like Where or When, Over the Rainbow, Melancholy Baby, She's Funny That Way. Maybe Easter Sunday before they come out, but we're going to get them out.
Of course, now on the pop tune, Somewhere in the Night, which we're going to play soon, that you couldn't do too far in advance because you didn't even know about it, I suppose.
Somewhere in the Night was brought to our attention naturally by the publisher because of the picture. And I tried to get to do a couple of more, but naturally you've got to be fair. And with artists like Harry James and Dinah on Columbia, well, we split the score up.
I see.
So that I came up with Somewhere in the Night. And I'm very fortunate, I think. I feel rather lucky that the song has worked out pretty well. I understand it's doing very well. It's a great song to begin with, so there's no worries about it.
A beautiful thing. I might mention that we have it on our list of the best-selling records. It's been there for so many times that I have a pat introduction to it each Saturday night when we present the 10 bestsellers.
You mean it's one of the bestsellers?
Oh, by all
that's
means.
dandy.
If I had a deal where I had a penny per record for every time I wrote it on the list, I could retire today, Frankie.
Wait a minute, this man's going to take our picture.
Well, let's smile. Wonderful.
What are you talking about?
Wonderful.
Have 100 of those, son.
Don't think he won't be at your front door tomorrow with the order blank. Well, Frankie, we have next on the program a little thing called the coffee song. When did you first hear it, and when did you decide to record it?
I heard the coffee song in the Copacabana in New York, which was my unofficial headquarters while I was in New York.
I see.
Every night at 12 o'clock, the whole gang would say, what do we do tonight? And it was inevitable. Somebody said, let's go to the Copa. And in the show, the music was written particularly for the show. One of the songs was Coffee in Brazil. And after hearing it night after night, it suddenly dawned on me that this might make a pretty cute record.
And it certainly did. Oh, I wish you could hear the kids come in and ask for that number here at Music
wonderful.
City. Other music shops across the country. By the way, Frankie, what do you think of our setup here? It's a little different than the average.
I like it. It's wonderful.
We have everything but Christmas
Nice.
early.
It's just like home. Everybody comes into the house.
You bet they do.
What is that?
That's another picture. I'm telling you, it's the bombardment up here tonight with flash bulbs.
You
Frankie,
mean you just flip a switch here and the record goes?
would you like to be a disc jockey?
What an age. What
would
do you
you-
do? Just turn this?
Turn that one. Right there.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mom, I'm turning a switch here and the record goes around here. You know what I mean?
Watch and see now.
Here we go.
Ready. With the coffee song.
Way down among Brazilian, coffee beans grow by the billion, so they've got to find those extra cups to fill. They got an awful lot of coffee.
And another quick foul for Frankie Sinatra, who made a very popular record called The Coffee Song on Columbia label, of
I
course.
know they do have a lot of coffee in Brazil.
I haven't...
brother, they got zillions of tons of coffee.
What's that little thing you said on the end there, Frankie? I didn't catch that.
Hey, Pedro, get a flashlight. I can't find it.
I love that one. We're going to change the tempo here, the musical tempo, as we introduce the next selection. It's just sing, Frankie, from Three Little Girls in Blue. This is the song we mentioned, Somewhere in the Night. It was written by a couple of fine men.
Oh, yeah, Joe Miro and Matt Gordon, a couple of wonderful friends of mine.
I guess-
wrote great songs.
I guess they scored the entire picture.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I like them. As a matter of fact, I like all the songs in the picture.
Suppose we give this...
Oh, incidentally, before you turn that, we got a pretty wonderful arrangement, we think, on the boardwalk at Atlantic City, which is also from Mac's picture. You know, Mac Gordon produced this picture.
You know, the boys...
You know, it's a
from that-
20th Century Fox picture that this song is from.
Are you saying that yourself?
I'll give you my notice tomorrow, Mr. Mayor.
Frankie, I know all about the score. I'll tell you why. The boys that published this, they're in here every night at 10 minutes to 10, and they're on my neck from 10 minutes to 10 till 12. That's why you hear a lot of these
You mean
songs.
song pluggers?
Song pluggers, they call them.
What are they like?
Believe me, I want to tell you something. They're real great guys, Frankie. You know as well as I do.
Yes,
that
they are.
We pass a
They
lot
can
of
pick
time
up
here.
more checks than you can shake a stick with.
That I've learned too. And I love them. Love them all.
That Mac Martin, he's sensational.
That boy. Well, suppose we let this little one roll here.
Yeah.
And before we play the one after that, I want to talk to you again if you have a little time.
Well, I have some time.
Wonderful. Somewhere in
Hey,
the night.
Nancy, I'll be around soon. Wait around, kid. I'll get there.
Somewhere in the
You
night.
know that Crosby's got nothing to worry about, kid.
How modest can you be? Frankie, we've kind of overlooked the fellow that made the music here on this session that we're playing.
Oh, yeah, the sailor, the skipper, Axel.
That's especially why I want to mention it, because I understand he has a yacht that won't stop.
Oh, I can't get him back anymore. Every time we need an arrangement, I have to call him ship to shore. He says, over.
Roger.
It's a nice invention they have there.
That is a great thing. Another thing I'd like to talk about in a little greater detail, is your old gold program, heard every Wednesday night.
Oh, do we have to?
No, we don't have to. The KNX.
Well, then let's talk about it.
Oh, all right. I particularly like the Pied Pipers down there. They sure sing good. They
Pied Pipers are wonderful, Ira. They are probably, I kid around with them and kid with the audience and tell them they're probably the greatest vocal group in the world, and I think they are today. They do wonderful things. And, of course, we're all friends, you know, being with Tommy a few years back. We were all working for him. And I'm very proud of the kids because they came a long way. And we're all happy, you know. Everything's been swell.
Certainly. No, how about the new vocalist you have on your program?
Well, we haven't gotten around to use Judy yet because we haven't had time to. It's an unfortunate happening. The first show, when we came on the air for the first Wednesday this season, we were 4 minutes and 45 seconds over.
Oh, I remember. Mm-hmm.
So we
I
had
was up
to
at
cut.
rehearsal.
Yeah, we had to cut the show, and of course, now, as the format remains now, we can't possibly fit in a girl singer. Not yet, but we're hoping that we can very soon.
Big future plans.
Of course, Judy Stevens is a wonderful singer. I heard some records of hers of Judy's, and that's how we bought her for the show.
I see. Mm-hmm.
She's got a wonderful style of singing. It's just a plain, straight, melodic style. No tricks, you know.
That sounds like it's the forthcoming trend in music, too.
I think so. I hope so. I hope so. It's, well, let's not go into that.
I know what you're going to say. Frankie, we mentioned something about Nancy. Nancy is your daughter?
Nancy's my daughter, and Nancy's my wife. I got a couple of them.
Oh, two, Nancy and Nancy, do they call
Getting crowded.
How many children do you have?
We have 2 kids at home. We got little boy, little Frankie is, he'll be 3 in January, and Nancy is 6 years old, and she's missing 2 teeth in front of her mouth.
Is she listening in now?
No, they go to bed at 7 o'clock. I whip them. I got to whip them.
But I've always maintained that's the way to treat them. Not having any of my own, I love that idea. I think it really goes over great. Frankie, suppose we present this number here, Nancy.
Nancy, I'm proud of this song. This is a wonderful song.
Why don't you give us just a few words about it? I know who wrote it. Maybe the listeners don't.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this song is called Nancy with a Laughing Face, and it was inspired by little Nancy. Because of the first time that Jimmy Van Heusen and Phil Silvers, who wrote the song, met Nancy. She has a rather contagious smile, and well, they kind of fell in love with her, which most people do when they see her. Mm-hmm. So they came up with this song, and I couldn't believe it the first time I saw it. It was so wonderful. And it's been a big favorite. I know it has because we see a lot of letters come in, and we get a lot of phone calls about doing it on the air, and where can they buy the record and so on and so forth.
I can back you up in the popularity of the number, having had, and I do mean thousands of requests. Naturally, that means thousands of listeners, and makes me very happy, too. It seems to me that the lyrics just kind of fall right in on this particular number. And
the lyrics mean, Ira, practically exactly what Nancy is. Mm-hmm. Almost every word in the song portrays what little Nancy is.
I've always felt the song practically wrote itself. Perhaps.
And it's very singable. It's a plain, simple song.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's listen.
Well, sure. Let's
Nancy,
listen. Here we go.
With a smiling face. Well, that certainly is one of the most beautiful records ever made for Columbia, made by our guest of the evening, Frank Sinatra, who comes to our Lucky Logger.
You heard Spade Cooley?
Yeah, I've
grand.
With strings yet.
Cool. Oh, great.
I'll tell you, that's something.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
You know, Spade's doing all right, too. He's eating 3 meals a day. Good ones. Everything
That's
is
more
good.
than I've been doing.
Frankie, I want to introduce the next record we have here. As a matter of fact, I'd kind of like to have you introduce it, if you would. It's a famous George Gershwin composition.
Oh, Beth.
Yes. Where is my Beth?
Well, this, I really would like to say something about this piece of material. One evening at home, we were sitting around playing piano. I wasn't. I was sitting on the bench with Charlie Chaplin, and he was playing a lot of Gershwin stuff. And he played this piece, and I said, "What is that?" He said, "It's from Porgy and Bess." I said, "Funny, I never heard it before." And I had seen the show, and I couldn't remember hearing it in the show. And he explained to me exactly where it came in the show, and then it did dawn on me that I might have heard it. But it grew on me week after week, and I decided that I'd take a whack at singing it. I know it's a little bit out of my line, because known as a crooner, crooners aren't supposed to do things like these. But we took a chance at it, and Axel made a sensational arrangement, and it knocked me out the first time I heard the arrangement. So it's met with great success in theaters and in personal appearances and concerts, you know. And I do hope the record is a success because it's a great song. I mean, it's strictly from that basis. It's such a great song that, and the fact that Gershwin was one of the greatest American composers we've ever had, I think people should get to know more of his music anyway. Things that have not been played as frequently as his other things, like Summertime, and ain't necessarily so. So that I'd like to see this kind of thing become a great success from that standpoint.
Well, I'll be frank with you, Frank. We have a little way of surveying records here at Music City because we have a lot of phone calls and people coming in during the day. This is the particular kind of a number that it takes a little while to catch on. But of course, as you say, it has a beautiful arrangement. Those things certainly do appeal to listeners who are very well educated, musically speaking, these days, because after all, they listen to records all day.
And I think people are becoming more educated about records day by day.
They are. They certainly are. We have a hard time when we put on some bad ones. We find out. But
what are you looking at me for?
Oh, Frankie, you got me on the spot. I'll tell you, though, when it comes to surveys and such as that, you'll find that all the boys in town are pretty well unanimously agreed that these Columbia discs, which bear your talent, are some of the fastest sellers in town. I've said my piece.
That's good news. Glad to hear that, Ira.
I'm serious, Frankie. It's
well,
wonderful.
That's wonderful.
And may I take this opportunity to say thanks a million for coming up tonight. As I told you at the beginning of the show, I tell you again, I know how busy you are. We've wanted you on the show for a long time, and I've just kept telling my listeners that you are busy because they know it. They certainly know it.
I'm not that busy.
Yeah. Frankie, you can't make pictures. You can't do a radio show and do everything. But this was really a treat for everybody concerned, and thanks very much.
Ira, it's been my pleasure. I needn't tell you that I got a kick out of this, as you could probably see.
I certainly can.
And